The Florida Inventors Hall of Fame is a statewide initiative dedicated to honoring and celebrating Florida inventors whose achievements have significantly advanced the quality of life for all Americans. A new group of inventors will have their work inducted into the Hall of Fame at its annual ceremony on October 25th. Here today is Daniel Park, an 11th grade student from Hillsborough County, Jamie Spurrier, program manager for the Florida Inventors Hall of Fame, and Madeline Stoddard, education and community outreach coordinator. Thank you all so much for being here.
Hey, thank you so much.
Good to have you. Yeah. Okay, let's just do a quick overview about Florida Inventors Hall of Fame.
Well, like you said, the Florida Inventors Hall of Fame is a statewide initiative. We are located at the University of South Florida's Research Park, and we are dedicated to recognizing inventors from the state of Florida, because Florida has this very vibrant innovation ecosystem. And we are really trying to change the culture of how we appreciate invention and innovation in the state. So as part of our outreach efforts, we induct a new class of inventors every year, which we celebrate at our induction ceremony, which is again on the 25th. We also have an education outreach program, which Madeline Stoddard runs, called Ignite, and she can tell you a little bit about that. And then we're so excited to have Daniel representing the Invention Convention Florida. So it's a whole package, and we have a museum at the Research Park too. So it's about lifting up our young inventors and those who have made inventions who have changed society.
Yeah, and I've been there before, and it's really amazing to be able to see all of the things that you think, you know, we couldn't live without air conditioning, for example. Gatorade,
right,
you're thinking Sarah Blakely, you know her as well.
Even
These are
Hedy Lamarr,
yes,
the famous actress, she invented basically modern Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so it's very cool to be able to have that and to know that it's like here in Florida.
I know,
that's really neat.
It's very cool.
All right, Daniel, let's talk about it's a groundbreaking invention. Talk a little bit about, you know, for those of us, like, give us an overview of what this is.
Of course. So, essentially what I tried to do was I tried to address the issue of water pollution and soil pollution here in Florida and all around the world. So obviously here in Florida, a very pressing issue is water pollution, but we often think about pollutants such as oil or lead, right? And these are often pollutants that are great that we are trying to address. However, it often detracts away from other issues that are just as important, other pollutants that are just as harmful, and yet we don't really think about them that much. One example of that is the perchlorate, and perchlorates are a group of chemicals that often come from things such as fertilizer runoff or rocket fuel propellants, etc. And they often make their way into the environment, into our soils, into our crops, and then of course when we eat them, they end up harming us. They specifically affect the thyroid gland. And so what I tried to do was find a more effective and sustainable way of breaking down these pollutants, because current methods aren't very sustainable, unfortunately. They often involve things like chemicals or other expensive equipment that isn't really accessible to the everyday person. So what I tried to do was I used a series of bacterial genes to make a group of proteins. These are called the PCR ABCD genes. You can see them right here, this little complex. And then this model shows that it's actually possible for us to use these genes and the proteins they produce to effectively break down these pollutants in the environment. And it's actually a great thing that we've been able to analyze this and quantify how effective these are, because it provides us a more sustainable alternative to actually break down these pollutants in the real world. And actually, these pollutants not only exist here on Earth, but they also exist on Mars as well. So if you ever try to expand to Mars, then of course it would be a very good thing for us to be able to break them down effectively on Mars as well.
Okay, you can tell you're passionate about this for sure, and this is something you're very interested in. And this is kind of part of the Ignite program that we were talking about a little bit. Share about the Ignite program, but then also about there's an invention convention coming to USF that you're going to be a part of as well.
Yeah, so one of the newer initiatives that the Florida Inventors Hall of Fame and Ignite has come out with is adopting Invention Convention Florida, and we're going to have our first convention this year, April 12th and 11th and 12th. And so Invention Convention Florida is a engaging program that provides students an opportunity to really unleash their creativity and engage in solving real-world problems that impact their communities. You know, through these two hurricanes, we have tons of problems that our communities are now experiencing, and we have students like Daniel that are working to solve some of those problems. So Invention Convention Florida and Ignite provide students just that space to really become the change makers of today and tomorrow. So we have a competition that's wrapped up in the Invention Convention Florida, but I feel like it's more than just a competition. It is a mindset, cultivating that innovator's mindset in these phenomenal students that we have across Florida.
Yeah, how does that feel to be a part of something like that?
It's a wonderful experience. The competition last year and this year, continuing this year, was a great experience. The Henry Ford was an amazing museum, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it again and to hopefully also encourage all of these other inventors to join as well and participate, because I think it's a really important experience for them to have, to really get to know the scientific and engineering design process, to follow their passions and then pursue their interests like I did with this biology project. Yeah. And I think it's just a really great experience overall.
Yeah, and congratulations too.
Oh, thank you so much.
I was just going to say he's being very humble. He's not sharing that he won a Best in Show for the Invention Convention America competition.
Yeah, making history. That's
exactly.
incredible. Yeah. Well, congratulations. Thank you all for being here. This is going to be
Yes.
very exciting.
Yes.
We're going to go through the dates one more time for you. The Florida's Inventors Hall of Fame 2024 induction ceremony and gala is on Friday, October 25th. If you want to learn more about that, the website's on your screen. And then once again, talking about the Invention Convention coming to USF April 11th and 12th. FloridaInvents.org/ignite if you want to learn more information about that program as well. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much,
so
Allison.
much.